Hi everyone, it's Mitch, and it is Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, here with the free live shows. Of course, we are here live 7 days a week, 365 days a year, usually right around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Today, a little bit late. Normally, we're on the other side. We're a little bit early, but I didn't shoot my All-Star Game video last night, so I wanted to do it this morning before I did the show, and that's why I'm late. I'm posting it right now to the website and to YouTube where it normally is. Of course, the best place to watch this show is over on Facebook, in our Facebook group. It'll be the only place to watch this show in the very, very near future. So basically starting Friday. So you'll want to be part of our Facebook group if you're not already part of the Facebook group. But hopefully you guys are having a great morning. And just getting this video posted to the site. While we do this. Like I said, it's All-Star Day, so not really anything of substance going on in sports. I did do an All-Star Game pick video. Like I said, I'm posting it right now. It's not something that I normally bet on, so I certainly don't recommend it to anybody else. It is what it is. It's something. But we're going to do NFL previews like we did yesterday. There we go. So now we're just loading it all up on YouTube. This is something that we do every morning as well. I don't know, they don't let us do this ahead of time, so I do it with you guys. And since we're talking NFL, it's not something I preloaded. But anyways, we do 3 free picks generally every single day. Today, we're doing NFL previews. Tomorrow, there's no games as well. I guess there might be. I'll have to see what the schedule looks like. But I know some of these days there's WNBA games. There's maybe MLS or something. And I know there's Canadian football on Thursday. But tomorrow's video, the main video on the site, I'm really excited about it. And the main video on the site tomorrow is going to be about ROI. I'm super excited that that's what it's going to be about too. I'm going to talk about ROI. I think yesterday in the Facebook room, in our group, somebody's asking me about the free picks from the show for 2 days where I didn't do it on YouTube Live. Where I did it on Facebook, where I did them only on Facebook. And of course, there's a tab there in our group to videos, and you can go back and see every video that we've ever done in the group. But it was, you know, when the camera's not working right or the scenario's not right, I always do the show in the Facebook group, not on YouTube. So he's saying that he's doing some kind of study of everybody's free picks and how the free picks are more important than the premium picks and all this other stuff, and that these other people, he mentioned other people on YouTube, about how they're rising and how I'm falling in YouTube. And you know what, maybe that's the case. And I think the reason why, I know what the reason is, And the reason why I following in YouTube is because a lot of my readers are moving to Facebook, to the group, so they get all the free stuff. That's number one. But the thing is about the other guys out there, and I'm not saying it's every other guy, but I'm going to say there's a lot of them. I'm going to say since the more and more popular social media gets, the more and more you hear these guys. My record yesterday was 4-1. My record yesterday was 3-2. Number one, they don't show you their picks of who they pick, so it's not documented. They just say this is my record, and you basically have to take their word for it. And number two, 3-2 is not necessarily a winning day in baseball, and we all know that. Okay, if you took the Houston Astros the other day at -340, and if you took the Philadelphia Phillies at -120, so you lost -480 on that, you would need to have hit 3 dogs on the other side just to break even. So win-loss record is a joke. And anyone that states their record as such doesn't know what they're talking about, shouldn't be trusted, and really is clueless. I see some of these other websites out there. This is the most money we've made on a single bet. It's like they can't even spell made. They can't even spell. It's like, yeah, PayPal me $3,000. It's like, if there are people that are sending these guys $3,000 doing their shows like this, I'm doing it wrong. And I want you guys to let me know that I'm doing it wrong. Because, I mean, I have 3.5 million monthly readers. I never ask anyone to just PayPal me $3,000. It doesn't happen. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that in tomorrow's video where the dog of the day normally goes. But today it's all going to be about the NFC. Let's get right into it with some NFC odds and lines. Kick it all off here with the NFC East. Got the Dallas Cowboys at +250. The Giants at +500. The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles at -200. And the Washington Redskins +800. Generally, the NFC East is a division that's up for grabs. You're normally very, very, very tight at the top. Very, very rarely is there an also-ran that's way at the bottom. So this is a division I expect to even be better this year. We saw the Cowboys take a step back last year. A lot of turmoil with Ezekiel Elliott, but more than that, Doug Free retired on the offensive line, and that all the talk of how great the Dallas offensive line was all of a sudden, well, maybe the Dallas offensive line not so good. But I will say that the Eagles are definitely the team to beat here at -200. Though I think that the idea is to try and beat them. The problem with being the Super Bowl champs, everybody knows this, is you go into an opposing stadium and it's their biggest day of the year. So you play in full stadiums of people rooting for you every single week, and the other team extremely motivated. The Eagles are super talented, and with Carson Wentz back in at quarterback, they're only going to be a better team than they were last year. The problem is are they going to be good enough? It's not like they won every single game. As a matter of fact, in that game against the Vikings that they won in the playoffs, they were the underdog in that game. In the Super Bowl, they were the underdog as well. Here, they're a big favorite to win the division at -200. Of course, the Washington Redskins out with Kirk Cousins, in with Alex Smith. I don't think that's a move in the right direction because their best receiver, Dotson, is a guy that gets down the field, and I don't see Alex Smith being the quarterback to be able to get him the ball. He does have that mobility. We saw it effective in Kansas City. The Giants, worst draft pick in the NFL this year with Saquon Barkley. I'm going to pick him as my bust on the draft board. And I think that the Giants are probably in for another very, very, very long season. I think that part of the problem there is Eli Manning. Last year, though, the thing about the Giants is when Odell Beckham plays for the Giants, they're a different team. And Manning is a different quarterback. And I would say that, having Beckham back in there the Giants are going to be a better team as well. I just don't think that Saquon Barkley is the answer that they're looking for at running back, and I don't think he's what makes them a better team. It's Odell Beckham being back in there and having to account for him that make them a better team. But plus 500 isn't juicy enough for me. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this division. I think this one comes right down to the final week of the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 playoff teams come out of this one. Maybe the Eagles and the Cowboys, or even the Redskins. But I'll take the Cowboys there, plus 250 to win the NFC East. We'll head to the NFC North. Chicago Bears plus 650. The Lions plus 800. The Packers plus 125. The Vikings plus 120. Chicago Bears, you know, I hated the Mitch Trubisky pick out of North Carolina, but actually he looked pretty good when he was in there. I think the Bears have gotten better, and I think that they're probably going to surprise some teams. I don't think they're good enough to win the division, so at plus 650, even though the odds there are nice and juicy, I don't love the Bears. I think they probably still finish last, but I think that they win more games than they did last year, and I think they beat some of the good teams. The Detroit Lions at plus 800, you have the highest paid player, well, I guess he's now the second highest paid player in the NFL, Matt Stafford, and you're plus 800 to win your division. I would say things aren't the way that they should be. Of course, they got the new head coach there, Matt Patricia from the New England Patriots. Generally, when you have a new head coach who's a guy like Patricia, it's a break them down and build them up type situation. So you got to figure that they're probably going to be breaking the Lions down this year. And the Lions probably going to be competitive. I think the second half of the season, the Lions and the Bears are both teams that we'll have our eye on the second half of the season because they might take their lumps early. So when teams take their lumps early, we'll get really nice point spreads on them in the second half of the season. But I think that the first half of the season, they're going to be in trouble. The Green Bay Packers have Aaron Rodgers, will travel. I like what the Packers did in the draft as well. I think the Packers are the team to beat in this division. I think whenever you have Aaron Rodgers, he is the player to beat, and he is probably the one guy in the entire NFL who can beat you by himself. And he does it year after year after year, time after time after time. We'll bet against them, and we'll say the same thing every single time. Why do I bet against this guy? Because he is the one guy in the NFL who can beat you by himself. And he does. He does beat you by himself. He's made enough miracle throws. He's made enough of these throughout his career that they're no longer miracles. They're almost expected. The Hail Marys, the finding the needle in a haystack, doing it with less than just about everybody else has to work with, and still doing it. I love the Packers in this division. They have the best player. And Minnesota Vikings, kind of the gutting, there at the quarterback spot. Then it's, to me, when you sign guys, it's never, it never helps the team that gets the guy as much as it does the team that loses him. It never hurt as much as it hurts the team that loses him. And I think that's going to be the case here with the Vikings, as they lost all these guys in their system. I think that Cousins is a huge upgrade. I understand that. They also got, Simeon from the Broncos. But Cousins he's put up good numbers in Minnesota, but he hasn't won. So it's very, very hard for me to go plus 120, even with that defense, even with that home field advantage, because we know the one guy who can beat them in that, if push came to shove and it came down to a final game of the season and all of that stuff to win it all, which happens in the NFL because of parity. That guy plays in his division. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers here at plus 125. People are expecting, at least looking at the early odds, people are expecting 2 playoff teams from this division. But I think some of these other divisions will have something to say about it. Atlanta Falcons plus 150. Poured it on in the NFC South. The Falcons favored or not favored, the second choice, plus 150. They poured it on in the second half of the season last year and in the playoffs and came pretty close to making it back to the Super Bowl. And they didn't make it, but they have Matt Ryan. They have a loaded team. I think the defense has gotten better over the years. Just not sure in this crowded, tough division that's going to help them. Got the Panthers, plus 250. Cam Newton, if he stays healthy, he's awfully tough to beat. It seems that they get him help, and then the help doesn't help. The help gets injured. It'll be interesting to see. The Panthers, when they're playing their tough physical type of game, very, very tough to beat as well. One thing we know about the Panthers as well, and something that I generally follow in betting NFL football, whoever played the Panthers, the next week you bet against them. Because the Panthers, win or lose, they put a physical beating on whoever they play. It's like, whoever they play, you want to bet against them the next week because they're not even going to be in the mood to play, and they're going to be missing half their players. The New Orleans Saints are favored to win the division. I thought last year might have been the Saints' chance. They lost that heartbreaker in Minnesota. I really, really liked the way they revamped the offense, and they found Drew Brees has always been more effective when he's had that slot receiver, running back / guy. They found him last year, and it wasn't the guy that many people expected it to be, but they found him nonetheless, and I think that's why the Saints might be favored here. I don't really see it, but the Buccaneers at plus 1,000. This is a team that's they're a mess. I mean, they had the number 1 draft choice a few years ago. They took Jameis Winston. They might have the number 1 draft choice again this season. They'll be up there in contention. They'll definitely be drafting top 5. So I would say that in this division, when we look at these odds, plus 150, plus 250, and plus 135, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers at plus 250. I love defense. You guys know it. I don't play fantasy football because they don't pay enough attention to the defense. So I think between those 3 teams, I think it's anybody's game. And I'll take Cam Newton in that mix. I know it's Matt Ryan. I know it's Drew Brees. I'll take Cam Newton. He just this guy's he's tough. And that defense, they are bruisers. And if they stay healthy, very, very tough to beat. Luke Kuechly, just the best defensive player. We said Aaron Rodgers is the best player in football. I did, at least. We didn't say. I said it. I'll say Luke Kuechly is the best defensive player in football right now. Better than J.J. Watt. We go to the NFC West. The Rams, minus 200, favored to win this thing. If the Rams don't win it this year, heads have got to roll because they went out and they spent a lot of money. They've gotten Goff, the most impressive supporting cast of any team in the NFL. I was not a big fan of the Jared Goff selection. He's proved me wrong, but he's proved me wrong in a way because they've surrounded him with so much talent that he doesn't really have to do much by himself anymore. So the Rams at minus 200. Arizona Cardinals plus 1,000. The Cardinals they're in rebuild mode. So Josh Rosen coming in to play quarterback. This should be an interesting scenario with Rosen in there. I think it's going to be more of a rebuilding mode. You know, the old guys, the young guys. I think it's going to be a tough year for the Cardinals, especially in this division. The San Francisco 49ers at plus 200. Jimmy Garoppolo came in and worked wonders with the 49ers late in the season last year. Be interesting to see if he can carry that over, or now that the film is out, if he will be as effective. Personally, John Lynch is not the type of guy that I like to hear speak, or, really, it's kind of seems kind of like an asswipe, but I don't know him personally, so maybe he's a really good guy, and just the way that he comes across, I think sometimes I come across that way as well. So, maybe birds of a feather or something, right, with Lynch. But I do think that Garoppolo just added that instant spark to the 49ers, and it'll be interesting to see if he can carry that over. It's tough to rely on a team that relies on one player though like that. So I'm just not sure I can put much behind the 49ers. And the Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll. It's amazing, right? It's like when it comes to some weird, wild, crazy game and, a team that can look as horrible as the Seahawks do, yet managed to still pull out win after win. It's called getting it done. The thing is that the defense is not aging. The defense is aged and is gone. And it'll be interesting to see if they can replace him. I think that they've done some really good things on defense in the draft. A couple of years ago, they picked up Allen from Alabama to play defensive tackle, and I thought he was one of the best 5 players in the entire NFL draft. Of course, these guys get him late. You know, like I forget when they got him, but they got him. I think they got him in like the 2nd round or something. And I thought he was like the 6th. Jonathan Allen. No, this is a different guy. Oh, I guess he's now on the Redskins. No, this is a different. Oh, well. Is there 2 Jonathan Allens? Is that what's going on here? All right. I believe I'm confused. I will figure this out, and I know that I know for a fact that it is Reed. So wrong guy. Happens. Is Reed from Alabama is the guy I was referring to. Thought it was Allen. It's Reed. Jerron Reed. They took him in the 2nd round out of Alabama. I thought that he was. Alabama has so many defensive tackles in the NFL, so many great ones that it's tough to get him apart. But it was Reed. I thought he was one of the top players in the draft the year that he came out, and they got him in the 2nd round. It's his 3rd season. I expect him to make an impact for the Seattle Seahawks. Well, that was a little crappy there, but anyways, in this division, I'm gonna take the Rams. I just think that they have all the pieces together. I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks took it, though. I'd be more surprised if it was the 49ers, but we'll take the Rams. And anyways, that wraps up our AFC and NFC previews, at least the early season one. We'll have more updates for the NFL as we go on. Tomorrow, we're going to talk college football. And have a great day, everyone. And be sure to check out my video on the site tomorrow when we talk about ROI and what that means in sports and sports betting. It's something that a lot of the other guys seem to be missing. But have a great day. We will see you tomorrow.